I'm sitting there with a couple of gentlemen from New Order National. And they can give us a little overview of what's going on and a little history about the organization.
My name is Joe Rose. I'm president of New Order National Human Rights Organization. It's been a while since we did this interview with Brother Clyde, but I can tell you that God has been good. We went from a central library meeting place to a monument down here at 829 Hollywood Road. We do a lot of stuff down here in the community. We've been down here probably about like 2 years now. Every second Saturday we feed over 700 homeless people. We have a youth mentoring group. We're going to get people registered to vote down here. Our food pantry is just a monument. You know, a lot of kids come down here, and we're just doing a lot of great things. And I'm glad that we have made our way into Fulton County. To my right, I have Brother Derek Henderson, who's my national spokesperson. I think you've been in the group about 6 or 7 months.
A little bit longer than that.
Kind of tell the people,
more like 8-9 months, almost a year.
Kind of tell the people why you got involved, why we click. I know you're from Valdosta, Georgia, with a young man of Kendrick Johnson.
Right.
That's considered accidental murder. So give us an update why you joined the organization.
Well, you know, as we was talking earlier, I was working on the Georgia Dome project and working on a collaboration type plan to bring the neighborhood associations, the churches, and the AUC all together in one room so that we could have a conversation about having a fair community benefits agreement. And it wasn't going so well. And I made a phone call to you based on the advice of Joe Beasley, another civil rights activist. And he suggested that I call you up, and we connected like that. I knew that what I was doing had a short timeline based on the reactions that I was getting, that we wouldn't be able to make it the efforts the way we would. So I needed another avenue. I needed another platform. So I joined New Order in order to continue to fight the fight.
And one thing about this organization, we're grassroots. When I'm saying we're out in the street, we're in the trenches. And I'm just glad that over the years, we get results when we take on cases. Again, we just don't take any case. We make sure that we have much research and things like that, much legal advice. I must give a shout out to our New Order staff. You know, we have chapters in Ohio, Florence, South Carolina. So we're doing the work. Matter of fact, in February, we were just featured in the USA Today. We have partnership up with the Atlanta Braves and also the Atlanta Falcons. You know, every Tuesday we go into an alternative school and do motivational speaking to middle and high school students. And I can tell you, since we've been going in there, the director of the school have told us that we're getting some results. So I'm just glad that we have an opportunity to go in there every Tuesday. So kind of tell people the time that we talked about the Bluff off camera. Remember me, you, and Mark Bell, our political advisor, walked the neighborhood of the Bluff. Kind of explain to the audience what we seen over there.
Well, it was interesting to drive through and walk through a neighborhood like that and get out and talk to the residents of the neighborhood and just ask a simple question in terms of the conditions of the driveways and the roads. And they were in bad condition. And we asked the question, how long has it been this way? How long? And they said, ever since we could remember. And at the time, the city councilmen elections were up. And we talked to a couple of people who were running and campaigning around the neighborhood. And we made a point to let them know that if you're going to be in office and if you expect for these people to support you, then you need to pay attention to where they live, because their quality of life is just as important as the next person's quality of life. And these bad roads, the bad conditions of the roads, and the overgrown grass throughout the neighborhood is ridiculous. You know, people need to be they need to be acknowledged. You know, just because it's a bad neighborhood, it could be better if they just do simple things like that.
Well, let me piggyback in on this one right quick. Now, the Bluff. For those who don't know what a Bluff is, let's say Kennedy and Jones, the Yellow Store.
That's right.
Now, you have a nonprofit. I'm gonna just throw this out as a thought. What happened? I'm seeing this word up here, tool bank. What happened if we go out, take some of these guys, you get some funds, we go start cleaning up that neighborhood and take that property, get that address, and put a lien on that property? Can we do that?
I love that.
Now,
I love that idea.
What's going to have to work, make that work?
I love that idea. Well, number one is the idea that you brought it up, because it hadn't even dawned on me, even though it probably should have at the time. But we can go in and take responsibility for ourselves and bring the people in, and so that's great.
And see, what I'm saying is, you can take the guys, you can even take the junkies right down the street and say,
That's
look,
right.
all right, I'm gonna give you a week to clean up. I'll work with you. You know, I'll give you a little stipend.
Yeah.
I'm gonna come drug test you on this day. If you come positive, I'm through with you.
Right.
But you got to show me that you trying to work with me.
Right.
And if you can do that,
Absolutely.
you can get some money from people that don't. And
And
you can force their hands.
And I'm glad you mentioned that, because actually this is what this ministry does. People do come by here and volunteer. At the same time, they do reward them. You know, so there's no excuse, Clyde. That's why I'm glad that we brought New Order
like that.
from Cobb County to Fulton County, because I am very pleased of being in this community. You know, we walked the streets. You know, about a month ago, we walked around the corner, seen this homeless man just laying on the ground. We didn't just walk over, ignore him. We did kind of talk to him and let him know, hey, our office is right around the corner. If you need some food, or if you need something, there is a resource. Even at this facility now, is that if you know someone that's looking for a job or whatever, we will provide a soup for them. You know, so we're not just over here. There is some resources providing jobs, and we're very active in this community. But like I said, we just got over here. It's going to take a lot of work, but I am glad that we have the opportunity to be in this neighborhood, because it's needed over here.
It's almost like saying, what's the difference of this and being in a third world country? Nothing.
Nothing. That's
Let's be real.
right.
Let's be real.
The disparity and the quality of life is the same.
That's right.
And it's almost like saying, all they need is an opportunity, somebody to show them something different.
That's
They
it.
only
That's it.
perpetuating what they see.
That's right. Their options, other kids' options may be college, military, or traveling the world, where these kids' options are selling drugs, doing hair. The ones who want to do better for themselves and want to have an honest living, they do what they know how to do, and being resourceful. They do hair, they wash cars, and then the others may sell drugs and gang bang. But those are the options that they're given based on their situation, because they're given a situation of hopelessness. But that's why we're here, Clyde, to hopefully, get it to them and make them conscious and say, you know what, there's a purpose for your life.
Now, if you look at the neighborhood, it might look like a third world right now.
Mm-hmm.
But at the end of the day, it's the gold mine.
That's right. That's right.
It's the gold mine.
That's right.
And that everything's coming up here. You look at how close it is to the proximity to downtown.
Right.
That's right.
Look at how close we are to the interstate.
That's right.
All right? Why did we let it get to the condition that it is?
Mm-hmm.
Look at the history that we have here.
Mm-hmm.
All right, in the neighborhood. So it's almost like saying, can you get the churches to adopt the block?
Who do we blame? Right now, I think we blame ourselves. I can tell you right now that there's a church in every corner here in this neighborhood. We're going to have to reach out to them. That's going to have to be our open resource. Again, not to keep repeating myself, there is a lot of history in this area. It could be a lot of money be made in this area. So it's just let them know that we're there for them. Can't save everyone, but we have to reach to these churches right here in this area. And matter of fact, there's how many churches in this area?
There are a lot of churches in this area, but I'm based on the ones I deal with, which are mainly the Baptist churches. We're right down the street from Paradise Baptist Church, which I'm good friends with the pastor, and then there's another Baptist church down the way, which I'm sure I know him. But we can get the churches involved. But again, it's like you mentioned earlier. I think before the recording actually started, probably less than 5% of the people who attend the church in the neighborhood actually live in the neighborhood.
Right.
So there has to be a lot of outreach ministries to bring the people in the neighborhood back to church, because once upon a time it was like that. And the case in point is with Friendship Baptist and Antioch Baptist Church. They started Antioch Baptist Church based on the safety of people not even being able to walk a mile because they were being terrorized, harassed, and killed by white people. And so so neighborhood church was the thing, and that was the central focus of the community, was the church.
And we lost that.
Yeah, so now we got groups like New Order, like us, we back in the mix.
Now, the other piece is, we're coming up on, you talked about voting. Mm-hmm. We're coming up on the 50th anniversary of the Voters' Right Act. Mm-hmm. All right, we're talking about, the 50th year on the march from Selma to Montgomery.
That's right.
And I'm looking at it in terms of history. I ain't trying to put nobody on the spot, but I'm going to ask one question. Anybody heard of who was Jimmy Lee Jackson?
I'm not too familiar. You have
Explain
to
it to us.
All right. And see, this is the whole thing. One of the things we know about John Lewis, we know
Right,
about
right.
Hosea Williams.
That's right.
But it was because of Jimmy Lee Jackson, they walked across the bridge.
Really?
Okay.
He was shot. He was protecting his parents. He was shot by the state trooper. So they came up and said, well, look, let us take him, since the police shot him, let's take him to the Capitol. Let the state burn.
So let me ask you something, Clyde. Why his name ain't really being mentioned in the history then? Why?
Well, because that was King. That was
He's dead.
a march led
understand
by
that.
Martin Luther King.
But it's almost like saying these, because we do not document our history.
That's right.
We do not tell our story. Everybody else tell our story except us.
That's right.
That's who they wanted to be the hero. So I'm doing
That's
a little
right.
piece in terms of, and I can use your help on all these unsung heroes
Gotcha.
that we have living here in Atlanta.
That's right.
And we could do a lot of teaching actually in this facility right here to teach the real history. And that's, you have a point on that.
But that what you're saying is highlight these unsung heroes, and
Bring it to light.
I guess you're saying in documentary form, and making people aware of it.
Not only that, you look at that working with the schools. You work with the schools.
Right.
What is the history around the neighborhood? What was his neighborhood like in the 40s and 50s?
Oh man, this
You
neighborhood
understand what
was
I'm saying?
there. I mean, this
You know,
was a
before
very
integration, what do
Right.
we have here? Let's go back, look at it, and start documenting, showing the children what it looked like, and see how we can bring this thing back.
First of all,
together.
there was a lot of unity back
You
then.
know?
I can tell you that.
We had to bring that back together.
and what segregation caused unity.
Right. We need to go
and-
back to that,
And
though.
they, from what I understand, the dollar circulated 50 to 100 times within the neighborhood before it left the neighborhood. That's amazing.
Well, that's true. Now you talked about getting jobs. If we're gonna have jobs, we had to do some training. But are we teaching individuals how to be their own employer?
You mean entrepreneurs?
Yes.
As down here, you talking about down here in this
Yes.
ministry? Yes.
You know, because I'm looking at, think about all these. I'm looking at something small. Look at all these
Right.
yards.
Right.
You know, you have a person across the street. He does that for full time. So there's some entrepreneur. Then you got the barber shop
Right.
across the street. So what we do when we go into these schools on Tuesday, we do talk about entrepreneur as well. You know, that's very important. Try to own your own business because, you know, being African American and minority, you know, it's hard for us anyway. Especially if you got a felony on your record.
You can get it.
So
Right.
we got to start talking entrepreneur. That's very important.
And we got to educate people. You know, last Friday I was doing voter registration drives. And a lot of guys who didn't even realize that they could vote, who could vote. Georgia has a felony clause where you can vote if you're a felon. You just can't be on probation or parole. So as long as you paid back everything you owe to society, you free to vote again. And a lot of people still don't know that.
I guess the other thing is, are you teaching individuals about the election? I know you care to be nonpartisan, but at the
Right.
same time, I'm saying, look, do they know how their money is being spent and how they can get their elected officials to start putting money in the neighborhood if they get around and elect the right folks?
Well, that's the reason why New Order, VEC, and SUP came together to start that, you know, and I'm just glad that we came together as a coalition to let them know that it's very important. We got to start knowing the laws, and people need to know what's going on. So we're going to be that voice because a lot of people don't know what you just brought to our attention. So that's the reason why we came together as a coalition to let them know, you know, what's going on, the laws and different things that people that don't know.
Now, how do you plan to approach the one that is on the governor's table right now? Is that he can pick and choose? If I call up there, you on TANF, you get some type of service, and I say you on drugs, you can go out there and get a drug test. They can demand you to get a drug test, you can't get no service. And that's on anybody.
Wow.
Anybody who's receiving TANF. And all the governor got to do now is sign his name on the dotted line.
And that was the bill was just passed.
Yes, sir.
Just passed.
Wow.
And again, Clyde, I attended the Georgia Black Caucus meeting about less than a month ago, and it was things as I was guilty as an activist that I didn't know. So, but once I came out that meeting and explained what's going on about these laws are being passed and people don't know what's going on, it's very important that you need what's going on. So I think what we need to do there in this area is start teaching our people.
Right.
You know,
we have
what's
to do.
going on.
We have
You know,
to.
the past is the past. We got to move forward. You know, and I'm glad I had a chance to go to that meeting. So we got to move forward and start letting people know what's really going on out here.
Yeah, we have to get the materials and make sure we help people become well informed, and it needs to be simply broken down so they'll know how the laws affect them. Because the other piece that I got was what difference do I make when I vote, and what laws really affect me when they're going to do what they want to do anyway. And so we got to have a very candid conversation with those who we encounter. Right. To let them know just how their votes matter and the laws affect them. Because whenever a congressman can be in a district with 40,000 people and get elected off 800 votes, that's you and I can make a difference.
Thank you. Right. You know, I'm looking at the governor talking about the Affordable Health Care Act. Mm-hmm. He didn't have the money for the health care. But federal government for the first 3 years paying 100%. The fourth year they kick in 90%. The state will pay 10%. But you can turn around and almost come up with $1 billion you can put into the stadium. Yeah. And we're not saying anything.
Not a word.
We're just sitting here letting this go.
Not a word.
You know.
Right.
Something got to change.
Something has to change.
Give us again, if somebody want to work with New Order, what do we need to do?
You can contact New Order at 1-800-346-5138. You can visit our website at www.nonhro.org, or you can send us an email at n1992order@yahoo.com.
Got to work. Any comments before we go outside and take a tour?
Well, I just, man, we got to get it. We got to get on it. We see that our task load is heavy, and so we invite all those who want to do some grassroots work to partner with us, just like SUT and VEC has.
Thank you.